Thanksgiving is meant to be a time for gratitude, togetherness, and good food. But for one family, it became a day of shocking revelations when a 5-year-old girl hurled the turkey onto the floor, claiming she'd saved everyone. What started as a chaotic dinner ended with a secret so unexpected, it changed their family forever. Before we dive into this gripping story, don't forget to subscribe to Stories Unfolded. We share tales that will warm your heart, make you think, and remind you of the power of family. Let's get started. Thanksgiving in the Carter household was always a big deal. Laura Carter, a mother of 2, loved hosting. Every year she went all out with decorations, home-cooked meals, and festive activities for the kids. This year, however, was different. It was the first time Laura was hosting Thanksgiving for her husband's family, including her mother-in-law, Eleanor. Eleanor was no ordinary mother-in-law. She had a reputation for being critical and overbearing, especially toward Laura. Nothing Laura did ever seemed to meet Eleanor's high standards, but Laura was determined to make this Thanksgiving perfect. By mid-morning, the house was filled with the aroma of roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, and Laura's famous cranberry sauce. Her 5-year-old daughter, Emma, buzzed around the kitchen, asking questions and sneaking tastes of pumpkin pie filling. Emma loved helping, even if her help sometimes made things messier. "Mommy, why do we have Thanksgiving?" Emma asked, her big blue eyes wide with curiosity. "It's a day to give thanks for what we have and to spend time with family," Laura explained, patting Emma on the head. Emma nodded thoughtfully. "Even with people who aren't nice to us?" Laura paused, taken aback by the question. "Sometimes, yes. We try to be kind to everyone, even if it's not always easy." Emma didn't respond, but the look on her face suggested she was deep in thought. As noon approached, the doorbell rang, signaling the arrival of Eleanor and the rest of the family. Eleanor walked in, dressed impeccably as always, with a tight smile that barely reached her eyes. "Laura," she said, looking around the house. "You've done your best, I see." "Thank you, Eleanor," Laura replied, forcing a polite smile. The rest of the family filtered in, bringing warmth and laughter that contrasted sharply with Eleanor's frosty demeanor. Laura worked tirelessly to keep things running smoothly, balancing serving drinks, checking on the food, and making sure Emma and her younger brother Jack were behaving. Everything seemed to be going according to plan, until Laura noticed Eleanor hovering near the turkey in the kitchen. "Is everything all right?" Laura asked, stepping into the room. Eleanor jumped slightly, then waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, just checking on the bird. It looks a bit dry, don't you think?" Laura bit her tongue, deciding not to engage. "It's fine, Eleanor. Dinner will be ready soon." But something about Eleanor's behavior struck her as odd. Finally, the moment arrived. Laura carried the beautifully roasted turkey to the dining table, placing it in the center with a sense of pride. The family gathered around, their mouths watering at the sight of the feast. Just as Laura handed the carving knife to her husband, Emma's voice rang out, louder than anyone expected. "Wait!" Everyone turned to look at her. Emma stood in her chair, her tiny face flushed with determination. Before anyone could react, Emma leapt off her chair, ran to the table, and, with all her might, shoved the turkey off the table. It landed on the floor with a loud thud, sending stuffing and gravy everywhere. The room erupted in chaos. "Emma!" Laura shouted, her voice a mix of shock and anger. "What on earth are you doing?" Emma stood firm, her small chest heaving as she pointed at the fallen turkey. "I saved you all." The room fell silent. Laura knelt down to Emma's level, trying to stay calm. "Sweetheart, what do you mean? Why would you do that?" Emma hesitated, her eyes darting nervously to Eleanor. "Grandma put something on the turkey," she said. "She dumped a whole jar of black powder on it when you weren't looking. I saw her." Eleanor's face turned pale. "That's ridiculous. She's just a child. She doesn't know what she's talking about." But Emma stood her ground. "I'm not lying. It didn't smell like seasoning. It smelled weird, like the stuff in the medicine cabinet." Laura's heart raced as she looked between her daughter and her mother-in-law. Could Emma really be telling the truth? Her husband, James, stepped in. "Mom, is this true? Did you do something to the turkey?" Eleanor's composure cracked. "Of course not. How could you even ask me that?" But Laura wasn't convinced. She picked up the turkey and carried it back to the kitchen, Emma trailing behind her. She examined the bird closely and noticed a faint, dark residue near the cavity. Her stomach dropped. "What is this?" Laura muttered. She rummaged through the trash and found an empty jar labeled purgative salt. Her eyes widened in horror. Purgative salt wasn't a seasoning. It was a strong laxative used for digestive issues. An entire jar could make someone dangerously ill. Laura stormed back into the dining room, holding the jar. "Eleanor, care to explain this?" Eleanor's face hardened. "Fine," she snapped. "I did it, but I had my reasons." "Reasons?" Laura echoed, incredulous. "You tried to poison us all." "I wasn't trying to poison anyone," Eleanor retorted. "I just wanted to ruin dinner. Maybe if you failed at this, James would see how unsuitable you are as a wife." The room erupted in shocked gasps. James stood, his face red with anger. "Mom, how could you do this? Laura has done nothing but try to make you feel welcome in our home, and this is how you repay her?" Eleanor opened her mouth to respond, but closed it again, realizing there was nothing she could say to defend herself. Laura, her voice shaking, said, "You could have hurt us, hurt your own grandchildren, all because of your jealousy. That's unforgivable." Eleanor left the house that evening, her relationship with the family in shambles. The rest of the family stayed, rallying around Laura and assuring her that none of this was her fault. They ordered pizza, shared stories, and found a way to laugh despite the chaos. Emma, feeling proud of her actions, said, "I just didn't want anyone to get sick." Laura hugged her tightly. "You're my hero, sweetheart. You saved Thanksgiving." Over the following weeks, Eleanor sent letters of apology, eventually admitting that her jealousy had clouded her judgment. While it took time, the family slowly began to heal. This Thanksgiving didn't go as planned, but it taught the Carters an important lesson. Family isn't about perfection. It's about love, forgiveness, and standing up for what's right, even if it comes from a 5-year-old girl. If this story moved you, please like and share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Don't forget to subscribe to Stories Unfolded for more heartfelt and surprising tales. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.